We're trying to grow organic strawberries in Tennessee. You know, we couldn't find an organic strawberry farm closer than California. We're like, how do we learn this? And we're calling up university experts and other farmers saying, this is what we're wanting to do, wanting to grow organic strawberries. And there'd be this long pause, and they'd say, well, I don't think you can do that around here. And so, I don't know, that didn't really discourage us. It just challenged us. And it's like, well, we're going to prove you wrong. I mean, for me, the real kicker was when I came back from the dormitory one night from counseling these young people, and my wife sat me down on the couch and she said, honey, if something doesn't change, someday it's going to be our children who are seeking counseling.
I would never have imagined when I married this man that he would be a farmer. But God has surprises for us along the way. And we met in college, and when I graduated in 1988, John and I took a call to Kenya, where we were teaching at a school for missionaries' children. And we signed a 6-year contract, or we committed to 6 years. And in those years, God just taught us so many lessons that have been foundational in our lives.
And as a father and as a counselor, that really was like a knife jabbing in. And I said, okay, what are we going to do? We got to do something. And that really kind of got us searching and asking questions and saying, how is this going to work for us? And this was coming to the end of our 6-year term. We were understandably burned out, because we were just, it was a 24/7 kind of job. And we're just looking for what are we going to do? How can we change our lives? We felt kind of trapped in this cage, this wheel that we're running on. So here we were on this 5,000-acre farm with no running water, no electricity, no cell phones. They didn't even have them back then.
Hauling water from the...
Yeah, no hot water. Heating the house with the wood stove and cooking on the top of the wood stove. It was just like life distilled down to the basics. And I was just soaking it up. It was like, wow, I feel like a real man, splitting wood and hauling water. And I'm saying, honey, this is the life. We found it. Well, my name's John Dysinger, and this is my wonderful wife, Pam. We've been married for, this year will be 36 years of marriage. Have 5 wonderful children and 3 wonderful grandkids born and in the world, and 1 on the way. So that's a wonderful new stage of life. And we live and work on Bountiful Blessings Farm in Middle Tennessee. And it was in the spring of that year, spring of 1994, that we went for spring break down to Tanzania, to Kibadula Farms, where my brother and his family were. And that was just a real pivotal turning point in our lives, because, I mean, I had always kind of lived in the country, but it was not really country living. I mean, we're surrounded by the country, but I spent my time in my room reading books and listening to Dodger games on the radio. And it was like, it was just so different and so refreshing from what I was used to that I just felt revitalized.
And I'm saying, I'm exhausted. And I had 2 babies in diapers. We're sorting rice and beans.
Cloth diapers.
Cloth diapers, yeah. The kind you wash and scrub. And no washing machine, no running water, no hot water, having a shower from a bucket. And I'm just like, take me back to Nairobi. But I understood what he was saying. I mean, it was very simple. When we first moved here, John was teaching, and I was wanting to fill my freezers, and we had a garden, and I wanted to get strawberries. So I just started looking around and asking people where I could find local strawberries that I could take the kids and we could go pick strawberries. And there wasn't anybody around here. I drove 2 hours away to pick strawberries with my 2 little children. And the man who owned the little strawberry farm there, I spent quite a bit of time talking to him. He was an elderly man, and he was getting out of the business. He was retiring, and he was just lamenting that his kids weren't interested, and, you know, he felt bad. He was coming kind of to the end of his farming experience, and, you know, there was nobody to fill his shoes. And I think it was probably the second year that I went. Now, we were thinking about doing agriculture, and I told him that, and he was so encouraging. He said what a blessing it had been, and how he really enjoyed the community and meeting the community. I remember I came home excited and telling John about him, and we actually went as a family and spent an evening with this elderly man and his wife. And they shared their experience and their growing practices. Of course, they weren't organic, but he was very encouraging. It was a niche that obviously there were reasons nobody was growing them. We didn't understand all that, but everyone loves strawberries. And we recognize about ourselves we're not very good marketers, but strawberries don't need a market. All they need is a sign out front, and people will come.
The early years on the farm were really, really hard, because again, we had no idea what we were doing. We were just kind of blindly doing the best we knew how. You know, the first year we lost our whole crop because we didn't understand about winter weeds. We thought all the weeds would die with the first frost, and they didn't, and by then they were so well established that we couldn't get on top of them. And it was just one thing after another, year after year. And, you know, the Lord would give us just enough income and success to keep going, but yet every year was a struggle. It was just one year at a time. And you know, we needed somebody to learn from. We needed a mentor to kind of hold our hand and say, this is what you need to be doing right now. But we didn't have that. And so we just did the best we knew how. And, you know, the thing with strawberries, it's like you get one shot a year. We were planting them in September, and sometimes within the first 2 or 3 weeks, we'd realize that we had made mistakes. And there was nothing we could do till the next September to correct them. And so it's just this, wow, this is really hard.
So the first 5 or 6 years, we solely did strawberries, but we really, in 2003, we almost lost everything. And it was we invested a lot in the farm that year, and then weather just took our crop, and we, probably 3/4 of our crop rotted in the field. And at that point, we just went back to the Lord and said, okay, we felt called to farming. So what do we do now? And it was at that point that God inspired us to start a winter CSA. Again, nobody was doing this. John went to a local farmer and he said, what are you going to grow in the winter? But the mentor that we had followed was from Maine, and he was growing through the winter. And so that inspired us. And we started the winter CSA in the fall of 2003. We ventured out into summer production in 2010. But it was at that time that the farm started having a greater measure, I guess you'd say, of success. We started, we were sort of figuring out how to grow and what to do. Someone who knew we were interested in training literally called us up and said, would you consider taking my child? It was a young adult. They were in their 20s. They have an interest in learning gardening, and would you take them on? I know you have an interest in training. And we just said, yeah, we're just really not ready. But we didn't feel ready. But when we prayed about it, we felt that we should go forward. And we did. She came, and that was our very first internship. We lassoed our own kids into the program, and our nephew and our niece, yes. So we had 4, our daughter, niece, and nephew, and this other young lady, and they made up our very first intern group. And yeah. And from there, we have trained interns. And I think this has been a highlight for our family and for us, to have just a small part in touching the lives of young people. It's a hard world for young people today.
And so, yeah, we wish that there could have been somebody that we could have gone to and said, can you just walk us through this and tell us the ropes? And so now we want to be that resource if we can. So we just finished a week-long training here on the farm, Introduction to Organic Gardening. 24 people that we've been working with all week in the classroom and in the garden. And it's very tiring. It takes a lot out of you, but it's also very rewarding. I think this is our way of trying to give back to the Lord the blessings He's given to us. We just want to pass it on. It was hard. It was challenging. It's still hard and challenging, but we wouldn't trade it for anything. And now our desire is to share the blessings with others.
And it's a way that we can share the knowledge that we wished we'd had 25 years ago when we were starting, right? We learned in the school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
We didn't have any opportunity to go to a training like we are offering. So it's a way to save other people some of the heartache and the hard learning curve that we went through.
we believe in the farm life.